Now our next topic is order of constructor invocation. Means whenever a constructor is invoked, what must be the order? If one constructor is there in our code, then there is not any problem. But if we are using, suppose we are using one object, so for one object there will be no problem. But if there are multiple objects being declared simultaneously, then that multiple objects, whenever we are creating object, we are invoking a constructor. So what must be the constructor invocations order? So this is the thing here we will define. So since every time an object is created, the constructor of its class is automatically invoked, that we already know. Now suppose there are multiple objects. If one object is there, then it is not creating any problem. There will be no order of constructor invocation, because only one object is there and that object will automatically invoke the constructor. Now, if there are multiple objects simultaneously declared in a predefined order, then what will be the invocation of the constructor? What will be the order of the invocation of the constructor? So, the order will be such that the objects that are created, these are in particular order. Suppose this is my class sample, and in the class sample we are creating the three objects S1, S2 and S3. Now the order in which the objects are declared here, in the same order the constructor will be invoked. So this is the order of the constructor invocation, that is the objects that are declared in a particular order, using that order only the constructor will also be invoked. Now we will understand this particular topic with a code. Okay. Now see this program. This is program number 5.1 and this is in your page number 212 of your book. Now this program is saying program to illustrate order of constructor invocation, means how we will invoke the constructor and what must be the order of a constructor invocation, that we will see in this particular code. So first we have included the header file. Now I am just telling you that how we have defined the classes here, and then we will go to the main program, because we know that our program execution always starts from the main. So I will show you how this program will be invoked, or how this program will execute. Okay, along with an output I will show you. So here first you see this is the class subject. Inside this class subject we have created two data members. These are days and subject number, and under the public, these are what? These are the private. Okay, these members are private because it is defined under the private section, that you know. Now under the public section we have defined subject. Now this subject is same as the name of the class. So this subject is what? This subject is a constructor. Okay, this subject is a constructor, and this subject is taking two arguments. One is D and another is SN. Okay, now you see inside this subject we have taken some default argument value. Okay, so why we have taken this default argument value? Means this subject is being defined here as a default constructor. Means if the user uses this subject and it creates an object for this subject without any parameter inside that object, then it will invoke this particular constructor. And you see here another constructor is defined, which is parameterized constructor. Now if the user passes any parameter during its definition, then no problem, then this constructor will be invoked. But if the user does not pass any type of parameter inside the object, then what it will do? It will consider that default argument value. Okay, now we have defined one function here, print sub, which is printing certain value. One is subject number, another is day. Okay, so this print sub is printing the value of subject number and days. Okay, now we have defined one parameterized constructor. So since we are declaring defining this constructor outside the class, you see my class definition of subject is over here. Now we are defining it outside the class. So first we will write the class name, then scope resolution operator, then the constructor, and inside this we have passed parameters. Now this particular constructor is defining something, it is printing constructing subject, means this particular class is constructed, object of the class is constructed, that is cout constructing subject, and D will be passed to this parameter which is passed inside this definition. D will be passed to days and SN will be passed to subject number. Now this particular definition is over. Now another class student we are defining. Inside this student we are taking two data types, one is roll number, another one is marks. Now on the public section we have defined a default constructor. See, in the first case we have not defined a default constructor like this. Like this we have not defined. What we have done, we have given the constructor name and then we have passed a default argument value. Whenever we pass a default argument value, then that particular constructor serves as default constructor also. A parameterized constructor is also defined here and default constructor is also defined here. Now in the class student, only default constructor is defined, which is printing that constructing student. Now this particular default constructor is initializing the value of roll number and marks to 0 and 0.0, means with some value it is initializing the roll number and marks. Now we have defined one member function getVal, which will take the roll number and marks from the user. Okay, so it will be stored in roll number and marks respectively, and we have considered another member function which will print the value of roll number and marks of a particular student. Okay, these are defined under the student class. Now another class we are taking, there are all total 3 classes in this particular code. First one was subject, then was student, and now it is class admission. What we have done, inside the class admission we have invoked the subject class and student class. You see, we have invoked what? The subject class. We have created an object for this. So what we know, whenever an object is created for a particular class, it invokes a constructor. So since there is no parameters passed inside this sub, so it will invoke the default constructor. Now default constructor is not explicitly defined here. Okay, default constructor is not defined here, so we will consider this default argument value for this particular invocation. Okay, this I am coming later on. I am now only telling you that inside the class admission we are invoking the class subject and student, and another member we have taken float fees. Now public section defines a constructor. This is a default constructor for the class admission, and it is outputting the value that is constructing admission, and fees it is initializing the value to 0. Now void print, this is a member function which is used for this class admission. This is doing what? This is taking the object value and it is invoking first the getVal, that is it is invoking the function this one, because stud is what? Stud is the object of the class student. Now this getVal is defined under the class student, so this getVal will be invoked here. Now stud.print means it will invoke the print member function of the class student. And then sub.print sub means it will invoke where print sub we have defined in our subject class. So it will invoke, and sub, you see we have created the object in the subject class. So that's why sub.print sub will invoke the subject, print subject from the class subject. Okay, and then it will output the fees. Now we will see the output of this particular program. Okay, for output, our program execution always starts from the main, that we know. So main program will be executed first. So here you see admission class we have taken, and one object we have created for admission, which is ADM. Now as soon as this object is created, what we know? That a constructor is invoked here. That we know. So whenever this object is created, it will first move to the class admission and it will see what the class admission is telling. So first it is moving to class admission, and it is finding that subject sub and student stud, these two objects are created, one for subject class and one for student class. So as soon as it will see that this subject class is defining an object, it will immediately invoke a constructor for the subject class. So what is the constructor for the subject class? Now you see this sub object is not having any value inside it, not having any parameter inside it. So what it will do, it will invoke the default constructor. But you see in the class subject there is no explicit definition of a default constructor. We have defined a parameterized constructor here, and for that parameterized constructor, in order that if the user does not pass any value to an object, we have passed a default argument value in the prototype of the constructor. Means this is the prototype of the constructor, and inside this constructor we have given default argument value. So since this particular object is not having any parameter inside it, it will take the default argument value. Okay, so when it will take default argument value, this value will be 123, this will be stored in the memory, and essence value is 101, this will also be stored in the memory. And then it will invoke it has invoked the constructor. Okay, so now it will invoke this constructor which is defined here, because it is the prototype only, it is not the definition. It will come to the definition. So whenever it will come to the definition, this D will be having 1, 2, 3 value, and this SN will be having 101, which is taken by this particular parameters. This parameter's value is taken from the default argument value. Now whenever we have invoked this particular constructor, what it is written inside it, constructing subject. So this thing will be printed, and this D will be passed to days and SN will be passed to subject number. Means what? Days is having the value 123 and subject number is having the value 101. It is passed. Okay, now constructing object, this is the output. So my output will show what? First line, constructing subject. This will be the first line of the output. Now again it is coming, this line is over, this particular object is being created. Now student's object is created, stud. Now what it will do, it will go to the student class. So student class, it is finding the default constructor. Means whenever this object is defined, this default constructor is invoked, and it is finding their cout constructing student. So what the output will be now? Output will be constructing student. Okay, and then it will initialize the value of roll number and marks like this. Roll number will be given a particular memory location and 0 will be stored, and marks will be given a particular memory location and it will store 0.0. Okay, now this particular object is also created. Now float fees, so it is making a fees place for in the memory location. Now under the public section, this admission constructor is defined. So now it will invoke this constructor, and it is finding that it is defining that constructing admission. So in the next line it will display constructing admission. Okay, then you see fees equal to 0.0, so fees value is initialized to 0.0. Now this particular thing is also over. We have invoked all the constructors in a sequential order. How sequential order? Because our program is only telling this thing that what must be the order of invocation of the constructor. So what is the order? Since in the class admission, first the constructor of subject should be invoked, then student, then admission. So like that wise we have invoked, and the output is also showing first subject, then student, then admission. Okay, now this order constructor invocation is over. Now it will come back to main, and it is finding that cout back to main. So what it will write the output? Back to main, and it will go to next line. In the next line it is finding that adm dot print. Okay, so adm means admissions object. It will invoke the print member function of the admission. So what is there in the print member function of the admission? It will go on invoking all these things. So it is finding stud.getVal. So it will invoke that particular. It will go on line by line. This program is not very tough. Just you have to follow the sequence. You have to follow the control. So now in the print it is finding stud.getVal. So it will go to this member function and it is finding enter roll number and marks. So what will be displayed? Enter roll number and marks. So user will define some roll number and marks. Suppose user has defined 3 and 79.5 like this. Okay, roll number and marks the user has given, and this will be stored in roll number and marks respectively. Now this particular function definition is over. Again it will come here and it is finding stud.print. So it will invoke the print member function of the student, and what it is written? Roll number. This will display the value which is stored in the roll number, and marks, it will display the marks which is stored under the marks. So this will be displayed roll number. What roll number it is storing? 3, and marks will be displayed 79.5. Okay. Now again it will come here and it is finding that sub.print sub. So it will invoke what? It will invoke the class subjects member function print sub. So class subjects member function print sub is defining this one, subject number and days. Now subject number and days are already stored in the memory. We have already stored here. Subject number is what? 101 and days is 123. So this particular thing will be displayed in the output. So subject number will be 101 and days will be given the output 123. This will be displayed. Clear? Now it is finding that after this particular thing is over, we have defined this one. It is finding the cout fees. Now fees we have not given any value. If you want to give any value, then you can give here like this. That first you can give the get value of fees. We have not defined any get value here. So first you can define get value of fees, enter fees. So user will give some fees value, and then you can print the value of fees. Now since there is no get value for this fees, so the initial value of fees was 0.0. So this 0.0 is stored in the fees. So when this output will tell us that what will be the value of fees, this fees will invoke this particular value only. So 0.0 will be invoked in the fees. So here it will define fees 0.0. If you want to change this value, you can do so by writing another function before this print, that is getVal, and inside the getVal you can write enter the fees for the student. So user will give some value for the fees, and that fees will be displayed then. And since no other value is given for the fees, so the initial value is taken here. So this is how this particular program is running. Now this admission print, this print whole thing is over because this print function has defined only this particular type. So all these thing we have also defined in the output. So now it will again come to the main program and it is finding return 0. And return 0 means my program has ended here. Okay, successfully my program has run. Executed. So this is how my constructor invocation, order of constructor invocation occurs. Means it will depend upon in what order you are creating the object. The object that will be created first, that constructor will be invoked first. The object that will be created second, that particular constructor will be invoked or called secondly. Okay, like the thing here, what we have done when we have invoked this admission class, in the admission class you see first the object of subject class is defined, that is sub. So that's why first the subject class is constructed. Then the invocation was for the student, that is student subject was defined. So the second invocation was student, that is second construction was for the student class. Then it came to the constructor of the admission, and it has constructed the admission constructor. So this is the order of the constructor invocation. First we have constructed the subject, then student, then admission, because it is depending upon the order here. Here first we have created the subject's object, then student subject, and then admission constructor is invoked. But if you want to change the sequence, then you can do so. First you can give student also, then it will construct the student constructor first and then the subject constructor, because it will depend upon the user, what the user wants, means which constructor the user wants to invoke first. So here since the subject is defined first, so subject will be invoked first, then student, and then admissions constructor will be invoked. Okay, so it depends upon the user. So this is how the order of constructor invocation is done. Through this particular program I have explained this one. Okay, so your task is that you have to, the thing which I have covered in this particular video, all the things starting from your copy constructor. First you have to make notes for the copy constructor. What is copy constructor? Along with an example I have mentioned. Then when a copy constructor is called, there are two situations when a copy constructor is called, along with example I have mentioned. Then why the argument to a copy constructor is passed by reference, this answer also I have written here. You have to make notes for this. Likewise I have written, you also have to make notes like this. So order of constructor invocation, it will depend upon the sequence of the object which is defined. The sequence in which the object will be defined, in that sequence only the constructor will be invoked. And then we have seen that this particular program for constructor invocation. Okay, thank you.